In this lesson, in Chapter 5, we're going to be adding and subtracting fractions. Number 1, to add or subtract fractions with the same denominator, you add or subtract the numerators, and you keep the denominator. So in example 1, we have 1/5 plus 2/5. Your answer will be 3/5. In example 2, we have 2/3 minus 1/3. Your answer will be 1/3. Keep in mind that you always have your final answer in simplest form. In our example 3, we have A over B plus C over B. We have no idea what the variables are, so your final answer for an example like this would be A plus C over B. In example 4, we have 17 over 21 minus 10 over 21. We have 7 over 21. Always reduce. Your final answer will be 1/3. Number 2, to add or subtract fractions with different denominators, rewrite the fractions so that they have the same denominator. So in example 1, we are going to find an LCD for these two fractions. Now, if it helps you to solve these at this time, you can work them out vertically. For example, 3/4 plus 2/3. We found the LCD for 3/4 and 2/3 to be 12. Notice that when you add 9 plus 8 is 17 over 12. We need to simplify that, and our final answer will be 1 5/12. In our example 2, we have 2/5 plus 5/6. We are going to find an LCD for these two. So 2/5 plus 5 over 6. Our final answer will be 1 7 over 30. So in our example 3, we have 11 minus 9, which is 2/12. Simplified 2/12 to 1/6. So we add our numerators, 25 plus 3, which is 28 over 30. Again, your final answer should be reduced to 14 over 15. Now we're going to evaluate the expression and simplify it, if possible, on each of these. I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to let you come back and check your answers. Now, as we come back, you need to check each and every answer to make sure it's in simplest form and that you added when it was an addition problem, you subtracted when it's a subtraction problem. You need to show each and every step of the problem in order to get the correct solution, in order to get full credit also. In our next example, G, we have 5/6 minus 7 over 30 minus 2/5. We need to find an LCD for those three, then subtract, and then make sure our answer is in simplest form. Same with H. I'm going to pause the video, come back and let you check your answer. So in H, we need to determine what the least common denominator is to help us solve this one. So as I've told you before, if you can't tell by looking at it, start with the largest denominator, which in this case is 7. Do the multiples of 7. 7 times 2 times 3 times 4 until you get a multiple that you know that 6 will go into it and 4 will go into it. Another way of doing that is doing a factor tree. Somebody else can do a factor tree. You remember we did that in another lesson. So listing the multiples out or in your head, it's too difficult. Do a factor tree to find the least common multiple. Now, after we've done that, we determined that the least common multiple for those three were 84. So I'm going to pause the video and let you determine the final answer for H. So as you added your numerators, after you found equivalent fractions, 14 plus 60 is 74. 74 plus 63 is 137 over 84. 84 goes into 137 one time with 53 left over. Now you're going to be given some exercises that require you to use mental math. And in these type of problems, you're going to undo each one of them. Sometimes you can do the opposite operation. For example, in A, it's an addition, so you can change it to a subtraction in this example. So 8 from 13 is 5. 5 over 15 would be equal to X, but you will always simplify your final answer. So your final answer for X would be 1/3. In B, you've got to say to yourself, what subtracted from 17 gives me 5? What is that going to be, class? 12 over 30. I have one person in my classroom. That's wonderful. 12 over 30, because 17 minus 12 is 5. 12 over 30 can reduce to 2/5. 2/5 is my final answer. Okay, so in C, something taken away from 12 is going to give you 13. That something is going to be 12. Then your denominator will be 45. You're going to reduce that to 4 over 15. Okay, in C, you have another fraction. When added to 12 over 36 is going to equal to 1. So if this helps you, you can put 1 as being 36 over 36 to help you determine what C is. So now you'll subtract 12 from 36. So you have 12 from 36 is 24. So 24 over 36 simplified to 2/3. Now in these examples, you are to evaluate the expression. Then write your answer as a fraction or a mixed number. So in A, you have 9/10 in fraction forms minus 3/10. In each of these, you will change the decimal to a fraction. So you have 9/10 minus 3/10. It's going to be equal to 6/10. Simplify. Final answer. Let's do B. I'm going to pause the video, let you do B, and come back and check the answer. So I changed 75 hundredths, reduced it to 15 over 20. Then I need to subtract a 3/5, but I changed them to have a common denominator of 20. 15 20ths minus 12 over 20 equals 3 over 20. So in this example on C, we have 1/9. This decimal needs to be memorized in a fraction as 1/3 plus 2 over 7 equals. Now we need to find a common denominator. Start with the 9, the multiples, determine what the least common denominator is, and I'll come back and check your answer. So please check your work. The answer is 46 over 63. We're going to do D. Change them all to make sure they're all in fractions. Simplify. Come back and check your answer. Down. Okay, so notice that we changed 35 hundredths to a fraction from a decimal. Then we found an LCD, which is going to be 40. If you can see this or not in your, there we go. Now we have 30, we ended up with 34 40ths minus 15 40ths equal to 19 40ths is your final answer. Now we're going to complete the statement using less than, greater than, or equal to. So in order to compare these fractions, you're going to find an LCD. Then you're going to determine what the left-hand side final answer is, compare it to the right-hand side on both A and B. I'm going to pause the video, come back, and let you check your work. Okay, you'll notice that we changed the left-hand side to a common denominator of 12, but you could have changed them to a common denominator of 24 because you looked at the entire problem and found a common denominator of 24. Either way is correct, will be fine. Your final answer will be 14 over 24. Looking at B, you can find a common denominator for all of those denominators to compare them. I'm going to pause it and let you figure it out, and I'll come back. Okay, there was a couple of options on B. You could have noticed that they could all have a common denominator of 24. Or you could, on the left-hand side, change those to have a common denominator of 8 and reduce 21 over 24. But either way, you should have gotten that those are equal. In 6, a leg of a table is 1/2 yard long and has a support that is 7/8 yard long. How much longer is the support than the leg? Okay, the support is actually 7/9 yard, not 7/8. So we're noticing we're going to find the difference of these two. So we're going to have 7/9 minus 1/2. Find a common denominator. Final answer is 5/18 yard longer. Our next word problem. You use 3/5 cup of milk in a bowl of cereal. Your friend uses, you use 3/5 cup of milk in a bowl of cereal. Your friend uses 7/8 cup of milk in another bowl of cereal. How much milk is used for both bowls? So pause this, let you come back and check your final answer. So we determined that we're adding 3/5 and 7/8 with a common denominator. We added the numerator, so we have 59 over 40ths. We reduced it. Final answer is 1 19/40 cups.